But I'm not gonna lie, that was probably the worst meal I've ever had camping. So today we're here at Dry Creek Water Park, which is located just outside of the little sleepy town of Mount Olive, Mississippi. Today we're going to do a little primitive tent camping. So this is the Dry Creek Lake here at the Dry Creek Campground. Now, this is my first time being here, and to be honest with you, I thought there'd be more people here. There is literally me right over there and about 3 camper RVs just the other side of the bathroom or bathhouse right there. That's it. I figured there'd be a lot more people here. This is a pretty nice looking campground. It looks like it's, maintained pretty well. You can see there's lots of picnic tables and places to sit at, and I guess I'm in the primitive camping area. The map's kind of a little confusing, but I figured out where the stoves are and campfire rings. That's probably where I'm going to camp at. So anyways, picked out a spot here. A little on a hill, which is good. I can put my head the right way and sleep good. And right now, it's about 90 degrees. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon. It's about 90 degrees. For the heat index, it's pushing 99, 98, somewhere in that area. But the one good thing is, there's a very nice breeze coming across this lake. So that's going to help out as it comes across the lake from a campsite and into my tent. So there off in the distance, you can kind of see the RVs and campers I was talking about earlier. They're pretty good ways away, which I like. Show you something I found that I thought would be pretty handy. So say you come to a campsite, whatever, and you get your fire ring here, and it's filled up. The last place I went to at Percy Quinn State Park, the fire pits were pretty full, and I didn't have a shovel to bring all the ashes out. Well, a little hand shovel, it would take all day long, a little small hand trowel. Well, I have one of these at the house, okay? What this is, it's called a gutter getter. It actually is used for cleaning out gutters. Well, I like the good size of it, and I figured I could just scoop ashes out and get them out of the way. So I think this is going to work out pretty well. Let's go over camp real quick. Nothing too unusual. Same old Coleman ice chest. Dirty old Coleman stove. Yep, it's dirty. It's still dirty. Kind of upgraded my lights here. Got these from Walmart. They are like an 8 lumen light. The other ones I had were like 2. And they weren't very bright, which I don't need them super bright, but I need something just a little bit brighter. So I got them here kind of in the sun charging up. I think they're like $4, maybe $5 a piece, so nothing too bad. That old propane bottle has been going for almost 2 years now. It's crazy. I might have to fill it up one day. Still the same old tent, the backwoods bungalow from One Tigress. I got my monster. Got my same old gear box. Got various cooking utensils and condiments and coffee and pots and pans and all kinds of just random gear. I need to go down and kind of, I guess you'd say, lessen that up, but that's another day. So anyways, inside the tent here, I have, start right there. That is the O2 Cool. I think it's like a 10-inch fan I got from Walmart. It runs off of 60 batteries. We'll kind of talk about that a little bit later on. Kind of interesting little thing about that. Anchor battery pack, O-light, flashlight, and that tip right there has some kind of extra expenditures, camping expenditures, stuff like that. Batteries and backup flashlights, just kind of backup stuff. It acts as a little nightstand. Got the same old Walmart zipper cot. It's going quite well still. I'm going probably year 2 now with it, and I'm still enjoying it. Sure beats having to blow up an air mattress all the time. This is a cot pad. When my other half's grandfather passed away, we inherited some stuff, and one of those was a fold-out cot for like when guests come over and things like that. and it had that pad on it. Now we really don't need a cot, but the pad came in handy. So I've used it once before, and it worked out pretty well. It did the job. So makes the camping experience a little bit easier, I guess you say, on the back and shoulders and stuff. I literally left work about 2 hours ago and drove straight up here. So this was kind of spur of the moment, but not really spur of the moment, I guess you'd say. I kind of planned it, but wasn't planning it. Yeah, it's going to be about a 30 to 40% chance of rain, so I'm not looking for any rain at all. So it's going to be probably a pretty good camping trip as long as I don't catch a heat stroke. I don't like camping in hot weather, so the breeze is real nice coming off the lake here, so I appreciate that. Now, out here in this park, there is some trails. I can't find a trail map, but I think there's one over the hill there by that little playground that kind of loops through the woods and stuff. I'm going to go through there after dinner when it cools off a little bit more, and maybe get some firewood. I'm not going to have a big fire, just something just to sit and have some ambient lights. So I'm going to get some dinner going here, and I'll get back with you just a little bit. So what I got planned for dinner tonight is some Korean barbecue flavored Spam. My other half tried this here a while back, and it was not actually too bad. So I figure I'm gonna try that. And some old boiling bag rice. I've never actually done boiling bag rice. I don't know. We're gonna see how it works out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cube this Spam up and fry it off in that skillet there, heat it up, warm it up, whatever, and then kind of mix it all up in that bowl. So we'll see how that turns out. Well, I guess I'm not solo camping anymore because there's people over there. Yeah, anyways. Got the Spam all heated up. And the rice is just about done. Got a little salt and pepper on it. And we'll see what we got. Well, it's probably not the best meal I've ever made camping. Gordon Ramsay's probably jealous of it. Well, usually after dinner, I get to say that was a success. But I'm not going to lie, that was probably the worst meal I've ever had camping. It didn't turn out nowhere near what I thought it was going to be, but it's substance, and it'll fill me up for a little bit. I got some other things I can eat later on. Excuse me. So I was gonna go off in the woods, look for firewood, but looks like when they did some clearing, they already got us some. So I already got a couple decent sized logs over there at the camp. I'm gonna get a couple more out of that. Cut them up. It's not ideal, but sure beats walking off into that mess. So I'm gonna get a couple more logs, get a little fire going. I'm not gonna do anything big or huge or anything like that. I definitely don't need it for heat. It's still probably, I don't know, low 80s, high 70s right now. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Just going for a little walk. Got all that firewood pretty much processed down. I'm not gonna get any more. I don't think I need very much tonight. So my tent is off through that way. I come up, there's like an old pipeline right here. And I didn't realize this was even here. This is the other side of the campground. And this is obviously the RV side. And there's some, okay, there's some more over that way. Back off down the road there. Huh. It's not a bad little area. I mean, the pads are kind of worn down, but this is a nice little area right here. I should have come over here. Nice and flat and lots of shade over here. Plenty of shade, but I got a good amount of shade. If you couldn't catch a fish in that, You just go ahead and hang up your pole. I see probably 4 or 5 fish jumping just outside that brush there. Man, I gotta get my fishing pole. Now, there is all kinds of firewood out here. If you need firewood and can't find it, man, I've never seen so much deadfall firewood just everywhere. Speaking of deadfall, there's a little widowmaker for you. I was on one of the Facebook groups here a couple weeks ago, I guess it was. And somebody made mention they were going to, or they were at a campsite that didn't allow them to go out into the woods around the campground and collect firewood. I don't know where it was at, and they couldn't figure out why they couldn't collect firewood. And the only thing I could think of was the campground was trying to sell their own firewood and make a profit, which I can understand, but it didn't make a lot of sense to me besides that. So if you know why a campground would prohibit you from picking up deadfall out of the forest around the campground, let me know. It just seemed odd to me. So I'm just gonna head back to camp. It's probably about 7:30 or so. Getting dusk out. I'll go ahead and get the fire going. I should have brought some marshmallows. I haven't roasted marshmallows and probably, I don't know, my daughter was little, so probably 6 or 7 years I haven't since I've roasted marshmallows. I'm going to go on another camping trip here, actually tomorrow. This is like a 2 campground kind of camping trip, I guess. 2 different videos, but anyways. In between this one and the next one, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive across the state. If I come across a grocery store, I might get some more marshmallows and some skewers or sticks or whatever, and I might roast some marshmallows. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, I think tomorrow when I get up, I don't know if I'm gonna hop in the car and drive around or walk around, because that's kind of the main road. Kind of splits off right there and it goes this way, but I might just kind of look around the campground to see what there is. There's not a whole lot here. These campgrounds, this is a Pat Harrison Waterways District campground park, I guess they call it a water park. Pat Harrison Waterways District does a lot of things with water, obviously, river conservation, things like that, and recreation is part of that. Their whole ordeal, I guess you'd say. So the campgrounds, all their campgrounds, I think they have 9 campgrounds now, and all of them located in kind of southern Mississippi, middle Mississippi, in that area. And all of them have either a body of water, for like a river or a lake at them. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting. But that lake that we're at here now is 150 acres, so it's a pretty substantial lake. It's kind of funny, it's called the Dry Creek Lake. And the campground I'm going to go to tomorrow, it's another Pat Harrison Waterway campground. It's going to be interesting, let's just say that, so keep an eye out for that video. It's going to be interesting. So, but yeah, I think I'm just going to relax. It's been a long day. I've been up since about 3:30 this morning, so I'm going to head back to camp and get the fire going, get a beverage going in me, and just relax for the rest of the evening, I do believe. Alright, so I'm back at camp. I decided to go ahead and put some fresh batteries in my fan here. Probably won't need it tonight, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. But anyways, I was sitting here finishing it up. I recall watching a video by a fairly popular YouTube content creator, let's just say that, and they had that very fan right there, basically trashing that fan, that same exact fan, the exact same one. I was like, why? They said they're trash, they're worthless, so on and so forth. the batteries only last maybe overnight, 12 hours at most. And I was thinking, good and well, when my AC went out last year, late last year, I had that fan in front of my dog's bed, so I can try to keep some air moving across them, make them comfortable. And that set of these very cheap batteries right here, these cheap Rayovac basic batteries, they lasted, I know, a good solid 4 days. Now, of course, the last day the fan was not running full speed, but it was still moving a substantial amount of air. So I went back and watched the video again. Just I found it and watched it again. And after they were trashing the fan, that's pretty much where I cut it off. But then I went and started back again right there. And that YouTuber had gotten one of those solar generators sent to them by the company. So basically that whole video that they did about being, self-contained or self-sustained while camping or out in the bush or in the woods, whatever, worst case scenario, whatever, that was basically an infomercial because that company had sent them that solar generator. So they were basically trashing something just to, I guess you'd say, I don't know, praise something else better. But it just didn't make sense to me why they would do that. But then again, I'm not the one getting sent $400, $500, $600 solar generators. Hey, there's a trail. Let's go take a walk. So, yeah, that kind of irked me, and I've been noticing that a whole lot more and more and more over the last couple of years, with solar generators, battery packs, even the e-bikes. Like there's a couple of YouTube people, and I'm not knocking them. They do your thing. But it's kind of comical almost to me how they change directions. And these are, outdoorsmen and hardcore bushcraft type guys and gals. And they'll be getting these e-bikes, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 e-bikes. No one good and well, they wouldn't have bought one themselves. But some, Chinese company, hey, we'll give you a free bike if you do a 20-minute video on it. Oh, sure. I mean, it's just comical to me that they do that these days. It's crazy to me. And how they bash things to make something else look good. So anyways, what I'm kind of getting at is you got to look at the kind of the reasoning why sometimes. Now there is, I'm not bashing the battery packs, don't get me wrong, they have their place, no doubt about it. I would like to have one of those big whole house ones, but I don't have $5,000-$6,000 to give up. So yeah, for me, I you see what I have an Anchor little battery pack. I got 3 of them. I lose them every other week. So, but anyways, it's just, I don't know. You got to look at who's talking and why they are doing such videos. And you have all these quote unquote outdoor channels where all they do is tell you about this gear, gear reviews, but you never physically see them using it in a real world situation. But they want to tell you the pluses and minuses of that item. How can you tell me an item is good when all you're doing is pulling it out of a box? And tell me what the manufacturer is telling you to tell me. You see what I'm saying? So it kind of bothers me, I guess, when people do that. But like I said, to each their own. And like I said, just be mindful of videos that you're watching and the underlying reasoning, I guess you say, of why they're doing those videos. Here's a little caveat of what we were just talking about. And you can't say I'm jealous, because I've actually had probably 2, 3, maybe 4 if I go back and look, companies that wanted to send me items that were somewhat outdoor related items. Most recently I had a company that wanted me to do a video on a 12 volt cooler. or plug-in cooler or something. It was like an ice chest that plugged in, something like that, a small refrigerator almost sort of thing. It was kind of geared around camping. But as you can see, I don't camp with power. Maybe I should get one of those Blue Eddy and Jackery and whatever solar generators, and I could review that. But I politely declined, and explained to them why I was, declining, because obviously it's not something I would use in my camping situation. So I didn't want to give, I don't know, inaccurate or made up information about it. So yeah, but like I said, just look into the videos that you're watching on these gear reviews and stuff, and think about why they're actually doing these videos. Is it for you, or is it for the manufacturer of these products? When was the last time you went for a swing at the lake? Hope this thing doesn't break. Let me get the fire going here. I got about a load of dryer lint right there. And one good thing is pine cones. They are an excellent little source of kindling. So once it gets going, if I can get it set it on there, we go. Pine cones burn very well and very hot. I guess it's this surface area of them, I don't know, but as you can tell, I got all my firewood processed around the campfire. As it gets going, I'm gonna throw some of that on there. I might want to move this out of here. I don't want this to burn up just yet. But yep, you can see that's probably the simplest fire starter you got right there. Is dryer lint and some pine cones, some opened up pine cones. Works great every single time. Yeah, it's about a little bit after 9, I guess. It's been a long day. I'm so tired that I didn't even get my camping chair out and put it together. I'm literally sitting on my cooler. I'm that tired. So I'm gonna probably let this fire burn down, and I'm gonna go to bed. Those old solar lights are doing fairly well. Well, good morning. There's the first. Been woken up by dogs, bad weather, geese, but never a lawnmower. It is what it is. It's about 7, a little bit after 7. About 7:15 or so, I guess. Slept pretty well last night. Didn't fall asleep very quickly, I guess. I had forgotten my pillow at the house, but I did have a blanket that I was able to ball up into a nice pillow, and it worked out okay. So yeah, I'm gonna get up, get some breakfast and coffee in me, and probably go back on that little hiking trail, see what it's all about, see where it goes to. Turned the fan on last night. I put it on low. There it is. Put it on low. That was about 9 hours ago. Still going. But let me get up, get some breakfast in me. Well, I was checking the radar because it's pretty cloudy outside. I was seeing how the weather was going to be today, and there is some storms about maybe about half hour, 45 minutes north, and they're slowly creeping down south. So I'm not going to do a big extravagant breakfast this morning, bacon and eggs and all that stuff, but I do have some water going for coffee. And today I'm going to try out, this is a Peak Refuel strawberry granola with milk. Put 6 ounces of cold water, which is kind of interesting. Usually dehydrated meals, I'm thinking hot water, but I guess it's just water. And anyways, and I'm going to try out these Coffee Central. It's one of those coffee bags, like a tea bag, but it's for coffee. I think my buddy gave this to me for Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to try those out, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I may be packing up the tent just a little bit earlier today, but like I said, we're just going to play it by ear. So after about 10 minutes or so, I guess, everything kind of recongeals up. And it looks like it's going to be pretty good. Let's do a taste test here and see how it is. Huh? That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I suggest trying that one out. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not great, but it's pretty good for camping breakfast. Well, the one good thing about it, having that rain just north of us, it's cloudy and a little bit breezy, so pretty nice weather. So we're going to take a trip down one of these hiking trails here, just outside of the campground. Kind of see where it goes to. I think there's a couple of them. They all kind of intertwine, interlock with each other. I'm not sure, but we're just going to follow this one for a little bit. So either we get to the end of it, or the rain comes and runs us off the trail. So let's see what this whole hiking trail has to offer. So after breakfast, speaking of breakfast, that Central Cup coffee, I think is what it was, wasn't too bad for a medium roast coffee. Better than the Folgers one, so I recommend trying those out. But anyways, yeah, after that, I went into the restroom and kind of freshened up a little bit, washed my face off, that sort of thing. And the restrooms are pretty clean. I'm not gonna say extremely clean because it's campground restrooms, but all the fixtures worked, and it was clean. The toilets were clean. The sink was clean. It's cold water only, which is not a big deal. If you're expecting to get a hot shower, that's not the place for it. So, but yeah, it was nice to have a restroom right there. Pretty convenient. As you can tell, the hiking trails aren't very maintained, let's just say. It's not stopping us from hiking on them, though, one bit. So I'm enjoying it. It's not the greatest trail, but it's a trail. And take a look at this area I just came across. The walking path runs right here, kind of around on the corner. Nice open area. Plenty of room for a tent or three. Look at the nice view you got here. Right here, a little corner of the lake. They could advertise this as like a backcountry type camping spot. Because the main campground down the trail through the woods that way is maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes. So not far to hike, but if you really want to get away from everybody else, this would be an ideal spot. So that trail pretty much ended or led me to the boat ramp, and there's people getting boats in and out of the water and everything, so didn't see the other side of the trail. But I turned around, went back to camp, And this is the road that leads us to the boat ramp, which is down that way over that hill here. But I know there's a trail right here if you see the sign there in front of us. So we're going to follow this trail and see where it takes us. And I'm not very far into the trail, and as you can tell, the grass is pretty grown up in here. So not many people use this trail. This is probably not a very populated hiking area or community that comes in here, I guess. I don't know. Watch my step here in this grass. I need a hiking staff. You can make me a hiking staff just to make a little noise, ward off the snakes. There's a little foxhole or armadillo hole. Yeah, after that last camp I was at Percy Quinn, I seen 2 or 3 water moccasins, and that one that was really, really close to me. Yeah, I need to get a little stick or something just to make a little bit of noise, I guess. But maybe it was just that one area that was high grass. It was kind of a low area. So I'm kind of climbing out of it now. It seems a little bit better off, but just be careful if you come out here. Tall grass and snakes kind of mixed together sometimes. And these leaves like this, all these browns and blacks. A copperhead will hide very, very easily in one of those, in this type of leaves, I guess you'd say. But I'm gonna continue on this trail and see where it takes me. So right there is a T in the trail. The trail goes that way and then comes this way towards us and leads us out here to just the other side of the boat launch, which is right in that area. So the other trail came out right at the road probably, and follow it into here, and then we'll follow this way. So we're kind of following the trail. We just took a slight detour, I guess you'd say. It's getting cloudier and cloudier. I'm kind of watching the radar a little bit more and more as my day goes on. I still got to put my tent, take my tent down, a couple little small things. I packed up most of the stuff already. So in case it does rain, I'm not scrambling at the last minute to get everything loaded up, if you know what I mean. But watching the radar, the cell signal here, it's 4G, and then sometimes 5G, kind of depends on where you are. It's not very strong on both cases, but it gets the job done. Let's just say that you're still, I guess you say you're still on the grid. So this ends up here at the park entrance. Right over there, over the hill, is the entrance office, and over there is the park ranger's home. Looks like a little, I don't know if I'm going to go down there or not. No, nothing too thrilling down there, so, yeah. Let's do this. Let's go up this way. Kind of go for the campground back to the our campsite. I'll probably just pack my stuff up and get ready to head out unless I see something else interesting, but we'll see. It looks like there's a couple more campers coming in here today, early this morning. Still thought it'd be a lot more people out here. It's a nice park. It's it's an older park. It's not the fanciest park, but the rates are real reasonable. I think it's $15 to tent camp, and I think with power and water hookups, I think it's maybe $25-30. So yeah, it's not a bad price. If you're just looking for a no thrills or spills or whatever type camping. I'm enjoying it. It's, like I said, it's not a state park that has a lot of amenities to it, but like I said, if you're just looking to get away for a little bit and relax, maybe do a little walking, a little fishing, a little boating, this is a good spot for you. I just seen a sign that said bike trail crossing ahead, so it looks like there might be a bike trail. We might go down it, we'll see. Yep, so this is mountain bike trail. No vehicles allowed. Doesn't look much used either, unfortunately. It might be a loop because there's a trail there, a trail there, and let's go this way. I don't know. We're just gonna kind of ramble through the woods here. I would highly doubt there's anybody on a mountain bike back in here right now. So, but yeah, it's another hiking trail for me. We'll see what happens with it. Just saw that. It looked like a deer tick crawling on me. There's another one on my ankle. There's one on my hand right now. See that? So definitely you're gonna have to check yourself for ticks when you're out here, especially right now. It's getting warmer, probably in the low 80s right now, I'm guessing. I don't know, humidity's pretty high, but the ticks are out. I've probably pulled 4 off me since I've been on this little bike trail. So, but I think when I get back to camp, I might actually use the showers. I don't know. I don't like doing cold showers. That's all they have is cold water, which it's okay, but not ideal. Let's just say for me. But mountain biking trail. It's longer than, it might be longer than the other trail, the hiking trail. Has some ups and downs and turns and stuff. It's kind of weaves in and out here and there. Goes back towards the other campground on the other backside of the campground. I think this just kind of loops back around to where we started at on that T right off the road. But it's interesting. I mean, it's something to do. Let's just say that. Something to do. Get some exercise. Get out here in nature. Enjoy yourself. So that was probably, I don't know, maybe a 10-minute walk, I guess. Up and down, around, about, over and under for the woods. I believe this is where we started at before. Yep, sure is. So it makes a big loop. If I had a mountain bike and lived in the area, I'd come out here and ride it. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but something different. But it basically goes off, loops around, comes back around to the other side of the campground. It comes back around. There's actually a rest station back in there. It's kind of interesting. You can just stop and take your rest. I think it'd be kind of a cool place to camp. A little shelter. And then it meanders its way through and just comes back here and makes one big loop. So another hiking trail, I guess, because obviously there's not many bikes out here. Now here's a sign that says trail. Okay. So I had this yesterday. I guess it was on the other side of this. So I guess this is the trail here. So we're just going to follow it, and it'll lead us back towards the lake, which is where the tent is. And then probably just pack things up and head out, and we'll see. Well, I'm going to pack up camp. I think I'm going to head out and on to another campground. Overall, pretty nice campground. It's a little bit dated, but everything seems to be in pretty good shape. Bathrooms are clean. Trails are okay. Could be better. Could be a lot worse too. But as you can see, there's people starting to come out here to the beach and screaming kids and all that good stuff. So that's not my cup of tea. So we're just gonna call it an end right here. But like always, I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you next time.